Hello, I'm Dwayne Depew, and I'm here on Sunday to talk to you about Genesis 18, 1 through 8. It's an interesting passage, for me at least, because when I was in college, I experienced something that reminds me of this. You see, I spent the summer in the Pacific Northwest, Washington and Oregon one year. There I traveled around and lived in the homes of strangers. I ate with the folks that I had never met before then. They offered me a room to stay in, and I was busy doing other things during the day. It was, for me at least, an enlightening experience as these complete strangers treated me like they had known me forever. And I learned a lot about what I liked and didn't like in terms of food. Because they all shared with me great meals. And I ate off of different kinds of silverware and plates. I actually ate my first taco that summer. Being from a small town in southern Illinois, we didn't have tacos back then. The Middle East has a tradition that we see here in Abraham and Sarah's response to these three men who are traveling by their camp. Very similar to what I experienced out in Washington and Oregon. This tradition is still very important in the Middle East in that it assumes that each and every person, each and every visitor is important and should be treated as someone who was important. I'm told that the Hawaiian word aloha sort of means both hello and goodbye, but much more. Aloha greets you with a hope of peace and embracing you even as you come and go. Sarah and Abraham had been visited 3 times before during chapters 12 through 17, which tells how God had visited them and promised them a child in spite of their age, and that this child was going to be very special. This child was to become the father of a nation that would bless the whole world. Abraham and Sarah embraced this promise and much more because of their experience with God coming as God had over those years. Abraham and Sarah had learned to open their arms to these strangers, even more so than their tradition demanded. The gift of hospitality, which was in part their response to the continuing saga of God coming to them, and in part what God was teaching them and sharing with them, was very much a part of their life now. And so, even if these 3 men had only been 3 guys passing by, they were going to be treated very well. They are going to receive the hospitality that God had taught Abraham and Sarah to provide for everyone. Now, I realize in our difficult times of social distancing and sheltering in place, this kind of hospitality would seem to be hard to live out, to find a way to do. We just can't let people get within 6 feet of us or close to us without a mask, or us with a mask. But we can, I think, live out this hospitality in different ways, in different modes. And as difficult as this is, not having camp and not having the contact with all of our friends or new friends that we would be making at camp, we can still share the hospitality that God would have us to share with our world. The aloha, or in the Hebrew, the word shalom means much the same kind of thing. It means peace filled with the goodness of God's presence. This hospitality is still ours to share in our world. There are many ways we can still live that out and prepare to live it out even more generously once these times are past. You know, we still have a world around us, and we still live in a world that has different ways of being in contact with different folks. We have neighbors across the street, down the street, down the highway, down the country road from us, that we can continue to be in contact with, to know if they need something that we can offer to them. Do they need us to make a shopping trip for them when we're going shopping, so that not both families are engaged in any kind of dangerous activity? Do they need the yard mowed? Do they need any kind of help that we can offer to them? That's a form of hospitality. Oh, and look at the way we're communicating. We have the internet in which we can provide hospitality through. You know, we can make our personality reflect the peace, the aloha, the shalom that comes from hospitality through our internet personalities. You know, we all know someone on the internet that's belligerent, angry, mean. That doesn't need to be that way. And we can offer a whole different approach as we share together. We can open up and offer safety to those people we meet online and in person, at least 6 feet with a mask, in these difficult days. So as you think about this story from Abraham and Sarah and these 3 visitors, think about how we can share our peace, our shalom, our aloha, our hospitality with those in our world day to day. Thanks for joining us here, and I hope you go ahead and catch the other videos we have in our virtual camp this year. Goodbye.